Good Yom Tov, everyone. By Hasidim, there is something very, very special that every Yom Tov we can say, wow, nothing is like this Yom Tov. For an example, Pesach is coming, we would say, without going out from Egypt, from Mitzrayim, we would never get to Matan Torah, to get the Torah on Har Sinai, on Shavuos. And let's say if we would get out from Mitzrayim, if we're not going to have the Torah on Shavuos, so what's the point? And so and so. So every Yom Tov is really the highest. But there is one Yom Tov that when you watch the videos, when the Rebbe gave broches before Sukkah, the Askonim means people that are rabbis, leaders of communities, used to get from the Rebbe Erev Sukkah the Arba Minim, the Lulav, the Esrik, the Aroves, and the Hadassim. And then they used to pass by the Rebbe's door, and the Rebbe would tell them in Yiddish, I'm going to translate it to English. We should be zoiche, we should have them married, to be mamshich, to continue the hamshoches, means the broches, the ashpoes that we received from Hashem and through the mitzvahs, through the lulav, through the sukkah, from Chag HaSukkos to all year round. So Pesach the Rebbe gave broches and he's giving broches. Shavuos the Rebbe is giving broches. Chanukah the Rebbe is giving broches. Always, also should be a pe'ula nimsheches, a continuation of the activities, but such a line that the Rebbe should say always the same thing. We should be zoiche that the hamshoches that we received on Sukkot should continue with us all year round. This was only on Sukkot. Why? And the reason is because Sukkot has something very unique, very special in Sukkot that gives us the power to schlep it to all year round. Many times we go shopping, we go to Atlantic Mall, we go to any big shop, and many times we want to take home something, and let's say we even have the money in the bank account to pay for it, but do we have always the power to schlep what we want? Sometimes we need a delivery guy. Sometimes we say, it's so big, even if I have how to carry it, but it's not going to fit to my house. It's a big refrigerator, huge, I need a bigger house, or whatever. Sometimes we find something when we say it's for us, let's take it, and we enjoy it for a long time later on. This is in Gashmias. In Ruchnias, Sukkot is one of the Yomim Tovim that fits for all year round, that goes into Cheshvan, Kislev, Teves, Shvat, Oder, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, even Elul, the preparation for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, even Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, even the Ol Aseret Tshuva. So what is so special in Sukkot that has something in it that we can schlep it to all year round? This is what the Maimer in Likutei Torah is about. Yesterday we had the Hayom Yom. If you was reading the Hayom Yom, learning the Hayom Yom of yesterday, the Rebbe said, I'm going to read it from inside, means the Rebbe's Loshen, of Tes Zayin Tishrei, the second day of Sukkot. So the Rebbe says in the Hayom Yom that Tzemach Tzedek said over that Tov Kuf Samach Tes, the year Tov Kuf Samach Tes, this was in the time of the Alter Rebbe. The Tzemach Tzedek was the Einikel, the grandson of the Alter Rebbe. So the Tzemach Tzedek said that Tov Kuf Samach Tes was the time that we heard for the sixth time the Maimer that the Alter Rebbe said so many times ושאבתם מים בסוסוין. ושאבתם מים בסוסוין ממייני הישוע is a pasuk in Novi. And it's a mimer about the pasuk. We know that you're learning Maimorim, right? So every mimer has a dibura maschil, the beginning of the mimer. Sometimes it's a pasuk from Torah, sometimes it's a pasuk from Novi, sometimes it's a pasuk from Tehillim. Like Pordo b'sholom nafshi mikrovli, Yutes Kislev mimer. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. And sometimes it's a mimer Chazal. But then questions on the pasuk, then explanations, and then a continuation. Every mimer has a order, and many times a whole book of Maimorim is one continuation. This is why Chassidim we call sometimes a book of a mimer a hemshech, a continuation Maimorim, because every mimer will be a follow-up of a previous mimer.
It's running in the theme.
Hemshech, like Hemshech. The Friedrich Rebbe has Hemshechim, the Rebbe has Hemshechim, the Rebbe Rashab has Hemshechim, even Likutei Torah. You're learning every parsha Likutei Torah or Torah Oil. You see a continuation. You see that it's a continuation of what I learned last week, just deeper, just more in the subject. Says the Rebbe, in the name of the Tzemach Tzedek, that in Beis HaMikdosh, Yoine HaNovi, right? You know about Yoine HaNovi. We just have Maftir Yoine and Yom Kippur. Yoine, the prophet, the Novi. He was Mekabel Nevuah in the time of Simchas Beis HaShe'oivo in Beis HaMikdosh. Means that Simchas Beis HaShe'oivo in Beis HaMikdosh was giving the koyach of Ruach HaKodesh, of Nevuah to Yoine HaNovi. But we, by listening to the Alter Rebbe saying the Maimer, Usha'avtem Mayim Besosoin, we received much higher than Nevuah. We received Ad Ein Sof, means we got to the essence of Hashem. Nevuah is how Hashem is revealing himself to the Novi. So it's limited. Sometimes Hashem will say to the Novi this subject, this line, this message, give over to Yidden. The Nevuah will not be always non-stop. Because it's a Gilui. It's something that Hashem is revealing himself to this Novi, through him, to Am Yisrael. This is what Yoine HaNovi is about. But when the Alter Rebbe said, the Maimer, Usha'avtem Besosoin, with the subject of the Maimer, we got to the level of essence of Hashem, etzem of Hashem. So when the Rebbe says such a thing in Hayom Yom, we have to really focus on what the Maimer is about. So we're not going to learn the Maimer inside now, because it's Sukkahs, music outside, popcorn on the table, and it's not the atmosphere of learning a Maimer inside. But it's really the time to focus on what the Maimer is about, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Because the subject of our Farbrengens tonight is how to schlep the Sukkahs inside home. Because usually we schlep ourselves from home outside to the Sukkah, but we want to have the Sukkah even after the Sukkah is taking apart after Sukkahs, because the city will not let us have all the Sukkahs outside more than 7-8 days. We want to have the Sukkah inside our heart, our home, our brain. What is the Sukkah about? Says the Alter Rebbe that Sukkahs is, we have many korbonos and Sukkahs. In Beis HaMikdosh, we used to be makriv, porim, eilim, kevosim, animals, kosher animals. We used to be makriv, kosher animals, and the mizbeach. What was the purpose? Really? We should put ourselves on the mizbeach, not chas v'sholem to be shecht, not chas v'sholem to be burned physically. No way. But when we say korban, do you know what a korban is? Korban? Huh?
A burnt offering.
Yeah, it's being put on the mizbeach. But in Hebrew, if I want to say that I'm going to get $1 from the Rebbe, let's say the Rebbe is giving out dollars now, and I'm far away by the line. There's maybe 200 people before me. Am I close to the Rebbe? No, I'm far. But then, if only one person is before me, I'm much closer to the Rebbe. But then, when I'm getting the dollar from the Rebbe, I am by the Rebbe. This means ani. How do you say it in Hebrew? Ani karov el Rebbe. Karov. When you want to say someone is a relative of another person, hem krovei mishpacha. Krovim. They are close. So korban is also to be karov. So we do the korban because we want to be karov, we want to be close to Hashem, but we can't put ourselves on the mizbeach, so we put something similar to our physical body, that's the animal. We have our own animal, the body, but we have our neshomo, giving chayut, giving lebedigkeit to the body. We want to make that our body should be karov el Hashem, so we do the mizbeach, we do the korban, the physical animal. But we don't have the Beis Hamikdash anymore. We're going to have soon the third Beis Hamikdash, but now we don't have the Beis Hamikdash. What do we do instead of korbanos? You know, we daven. So now, back to the korban. What used to do by the what used to be by the korban? You said it before. Used to be the fire, right? Burnt, often. So how was the fire there? Sorry, who used to lead the fire? The Kohanim. A little fire. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvoro. Who used to lead the fire? The one that was makriv the korban. But he used to do a little fire. Then a big fire came from the Shamayim. You know what was the shape of the fire? A lion. Very good. How do you say a lion? In Hebrew? Aryeh. How do you spell Aryeh? Aleph, Resh, Yud, and then Hey. How do you spell Yira? Yiras Hashem. Yira. Do you have Yira? You have Ahava. How do you spell Yira? Yud, Resh, Aleph, Hey. Same letters than Aryeh. Just another order. So the Aryeh, the fire that came down from Shomayim, is also the Yirah that we have. I'm so close to Hashem. I see the fire. I'm getting so excited. And this makes me to have a fear from Hashem, a positive Yirah of Hashem. But what's going on now? Says Chassidus, says the Alter Rebbe, that we have a fire. It's very bad if we don't have a fire inside our existing. If our heart is functioning, I have a fire. A fire means I'm lebedik. When a doctor is coming to a sick person that is in a dangerous situation, he will first check if his heart is pumping, the pulse are good, if his heart is functioning, if everything is fine. Oh, this means it's lebedik. Now I can make him better. So you want to know that the person is alive. Alive means he has a shtickle fire. But fire means I am getting excited for many, many, many things. So I can get excited from a nice trip. I can get excited from a good ice cream. I can get excited from a good meal. I can get excited. Some people will get excited from a movie. Not a non-kosher movie, but just a regular movie. So many things in life are not kosher, they're just regular things. Maybe it's good food and kosher food. Maybe I'm even making a brocha before and after. And this is what I'm excited about it. Says the Torah that it's fine to have food if it's kosher. It's fine to go swimming if it's kosher. You know, times for men, times for women. Just giving examples of things that we do, and it's not against Torah, and we can do it. It's fine to go to gym because I have to be healthy. But now this is the question. Where is my fire? Is my fire by this kind of stuff? Or my mother used to tell us, you know, you eat, you enjoy food. You can eat for an hour and a half, it's fine. Sit down with your family and eat. To talk about the food, not even 5 minutes. Because talk about more ruchnistic things or more quality things. Food is good. But talk about something else. And she was not far from to be into food, not in a negative way, to make good food to the children, for simchas, for everything. She was enjoying every time when she saw someone is eating her food. But not to talk about the food. Just do it, eat it, and go serve Hashem. So where is my excitement? When I'm going to a trip and just enjoying, or if I go to a trip and I find Hashem in the trip? I can have a very, very nice trip, but every time when I see another Jew, I will speak to him about Nero's Shabbos Kodesh, or I will do Mivtzat Tefillin, what men are doing. I'm going with my children to a Cholamoye trip. We will never go out to a Cholamoye trip to Prospect Park, to the zoo, or whatever, anywhere, without a lulav and a esrog. Let me give you a story, a nice story. My name is Kalman Weinfeld. Good. So what? I have a story about it. I have cousins that they are not Lubavitch. Chassidish. But not Lubavitch. Maybe without the bat. They are not Lubavitch. They're serving Hashem in their own way. Some of them are Satmars. Some of them are Bobover Chassidim. And others. And I don't know all of them, because when you have a family, that it's an unlimited amount of family members, you can't really know everyone. A year and a half ago, I got to know a new cousin, like a third cousin. Very sweet. A Bobover Chassid. You know Bobov? In Borough Park, they did a Bobover movement, Chassidus, Heilige Chassidus. They are originally from the Tzanzerov. They have a Rabbi, a very choshev Rabbi, and a father, a mother. By the way, when I met them, by the way, Sukkah last year was the first time that I went to visit them for a reason. I found out that, okay, the father's name is Ben Zion, and the son is a little after Bar Mitzvah, I think, Yeshua Elimelech. So the father is a Weinfeld, my maybe third cousin. The mother is a Levin. She's my mother's third cousin. Very interesting. What is special about this family? They have a son that was born 14 years ago around with a damage in his heart. But something that you can be worried about it. You have to daven a lot that everything should go smooth and have a long, long life, Gesundheit. So as a kid, he used to go to hospitals, to meet doctors. And more than every average, Bobover kid. Because a Lubavitcher kid will go with Zoim. He will go with a mitzvah tank to Long Island, Manhattan, and even meet non-religious people, right? We meet. But a Bob over Chassid with two long payas, sweet, Chassidische Yingale, looks so heilig. Usually he goes to the grocery across the street, his house. He goes to shul, he goes to yeshiva, he goes to mikveh, he doesn't see non-religious people, usually. Once in a blue moon, you go to a doctor over there. So he goes more than every other Bobover kid to doctors. Therefore, he decided that Hashem gave him a mission in life. Hashem didn't give him the problem just for the problem. If Hashem made him to meet non-religious people, Jewish, it's because he wants him to affect them in Yiddishkeit. Therefore, every time when he sees a doctor, first thing that he will do, he will say, "Doctor, are you Jewish by any chance?" And if he will say yes, he's not going to let him go without doing tefillin. In a nice way. And who doesn't say yes to such a Chassidische sweet yingale with two payas that with a smile asks you to do tefillin? Before Sukkah, he will give the Arba Minim, the Lulav Esrig, Aroves, Hadassim, to all of them. And like that, Shalachmones and Matzes before Pesach, like a Lubavitcher Chassid. But he's not a Lubavitcher Chassid. He's a Bobover Chassid, originally and all the way. Very nice. A year and a half ago, the family got a very, very positive news. That Baruch Hashem, they find a way how they can make him to do a heart transplant. To put a new heart. It's not simple. It's not just a little operation. When they do that, they put him in a sterile room after the operation. For 3 days, he's sleeping. The heart is open, the body is open, and they wait to see that the heart should absorb, the body should absorb the heart. And when everything is perfect, and they believe that everything works good, then they close the body and they wake him slowly, slowly. So the son says to his father, "Tati, I know I have to do it. It's to save my life. It's to give me hope for many, many more years. Be'ezras Hashem. But you know what will happen? I'm going to sleep 3 days. So I'm not going to do," this was already after his bar mitzvah, "I'm not going to do tefillin for 3 days. I know I don't have to. Hashem doesn't want me to do tefillin these days. Hashem wants me to sleep and to get hope for many, many more years doing tefillin later. But I feel that I will lose the mitzvah of tefillin 3 days." So the Tati says, "So what do you want?" She says, "Tati, can you please promise me that every day that I'm sleeping, you're going to look for anyone Jewish that usually is not doing tefillin, and he will do for my merit, for my zechus." Tati says, "I will try the best." He's not a Lubavitcher Chassid that will go and ask, "Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish?" It's not easy for him. You can understand. If it's not your community thing, you don't do it usually. But he says, "Lemelech, for you I will try." First day was easy for the Tati to do it. Second day, not easy, but he did it. The third day, it's already an hour before Shekia, sundown. And sundown is the last minute that he can do it. And he's not finding anyone. And soon, they're going to wake up his son, and first thing that he will ask, "Tati, did you do it every day?" And he says, 2 days, yes, 1 day, no. How can he face his son with such an answer? So he was very worried and nervous. One of the nurses, I think even not Jewish, let's call her Susie. She's asking him, "Hey, Mr. Weinfeld, why are you worried so much? Everything looks good. Everything looks perfect. Soon we're going to wake him up. You're going to have a new son. He's going to stay for a few weeks recovering in the hospital, but he's going to be fine. He says, I know, I'm thanking you, I'm thanking Hashem for everything. But he says to her the whole story with the tefillin. So without even thinking, this nurse opened on her desk the computer. She opened a Word document and she wrote in English, if you are Jewish and you didn't do tefillin today yet, come to this and this department, we will arrange you. I don't know exactly the words that she used. She printed maybe 30 pages, 30 copies. She put it all over the hospital. And believe it or not, after a little while before Shkia, a Jew came and he did tefillin. So they did it every day. He woke up, everything goes good, slowly. He's still in the hospital for a little more to recover. And then he goes from one person to another person. Are you Jewish? And he's doing tefillin, mivtzah tefillin with other people. And one day, a Satmar Chassid comes in to visit his father in the department. And he sees a Chassidische Yingale is doing tefillin with other non-religious people, and they don't like it. It's not that they don't want people to do mitzvahs, but they don't all for it. They don't think that if someone is not religious, he should do tefillin on the street, in the hospital. Tefillin, you have to wash your hand, and you have to have a very clear mind. And they have a lot of questions against the mivtzah tefillin of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe has a very beautiful answer, a long answer that the Rebbe is answering all the questions that they asked. For example, I'm going to focus on one of them. They ask, how can you stop someone on the street in the middle of Manhattan and ask him to do tefillin, and he's focusing in everything beside the tefillin because he is in the middle of the street, Ben Yehuda, Machni Yehuda, Manhattan, and you put them tefillin in the middle of the street. And the Rebbe said, he will focus in the tefillin more than every Jew that is doing tefillin every morning in shul. Because when you do it every morning in shul, since you bar mitzvah, you are already, it's a routine, it's something that you do every day. You don't focus too much as you should focus. And he is doing this for the first time, maybe, he will think nothing beside that. Anyway, it's a long letter of the Rebbe. So this guy didn't like what fellow Lubavitcher Chassid is doing that. Fine, but Polish Chassid, Payas, should do it. So he was waiting until he will be finishing doing something with someone, let's fill in. And then he says to him, and he's asking him a question. Hey, Bocher, how are you? How do you feel? He says, Baruch Hashem. Can I ask you a question? He says, please. He says, are you a Lubavitcher Chassid? He says, no, I'm a Bobover Chassid. So he says, you're a Bobover? So why are you doing tefillin with non-religious Jewish people? So instead of responding and answering, he's just telling him, asking him, hey, younger man, did you do tefillin today already? So he says, of course, it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I did it 7 o'clock in the morning in a million next to my house in Satmar Shul in Williamsburg. He says, why? Are you a Lubavitcher? Because you don't have to be a Lubavitcher to care about another Jew, right? This boy got it. He's a very deep boy. But we don't get it. We are Lubavitchers, and this is who we are, and we don't appreciate it enough. This is who we are. So if we care about so much that other people should do what we're supposed to do, we need to really realize, we need to really be aware about how high we are at. Says the Alter Rebbe in the Maimer of Sha'afte Mayim Besosoin that there is a fire, that we have fire for other stuff. Comes the fire of the Korbanos, of Sukkah, and he's taking away this fire, and he's making that the fire that we should have. Fire means a desire. When you have a fire, you feel thirsty. You feel thirsty. When you sit next to a fire, you must have a bottle of water next to you, because you're getting, how do you say it? You can get dehydrated, yeah? So you have to drink. You can't sit next to a kumsitz without drinking sometime, because you're schwitzing, you're losing liquid in your body, and you need to. So when you have a fire, this shows a desire. The fire is like, so I need something. I want to have it. I'm excited. What's the water? The water is really what makes you to come down and to say, I have it. So it's very scary. Because if the water that we had on Chag HaSukkos, the simche, the giluim, the more than the nevuah that they got in Simchas Beis HaShe'oivo is to give us what we are looking for. We have a desire and then we get it. When you get it, you don't need it anymore because you have it. And he gives the marshal the parable of a king that has a son that was lost and he's screaming, Tati, Tati, Tati. But when the king is hearing his voice, he's taking him in, he's not screaming anymore, Tati, right? If a child will scream at home, always Tati, 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 we will need to take him to a doctor. If he's screaming Tati outside, it's good. If he's not screaming outside when he's lost, this is a problem. So we scream when we are outside, when we are far. When we are there, we are not screaming anymore. But this is a little scary because sometimes when you feel that you are in, it's like us in Crown Heights, seeing so many guests. And I think that the guests from all over the world that are coming, Tishrei, Yud Shvat, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, Kinus HaShluchim, Kinus HaShluchos, Gimel Tammuz, all Yomim Tovim, all Yom Pagre. When they are coming, they are making us to go to the Rebbe. They are making us to be aware that we are thirsty. But then how can we make sure that the water that we was drinking while we are by the Rebbe, while we are by the holiday, should stay with us? And we should really be thirsty all year. Maybe we're not going to scream all year because we can't be in the highest level always. We say the 2 nights of Rosh Hashanah and the night of Yom Kippur in the Perek, LeDavid Mizmor LaHashem ha'oretz u'meloyo tevel v'yesh v'vo. So we say, Mi ya'ale behar Hashem u'mi yokum b'mkoim kodshay. So is it not the same thing? Mi ya'ale behar Hashem. Who will have the power to go up in the mountain of Hashem? And then mi yokum b'mkoim kodshay. Mi yokum means who will have the ability to stand up there. It's also to go up. But the difference is that mi yale, to go up in the mountain of Hashem. Umi yokum, after you are going up in the Har Hashem, how can you stand in the spitz of the mountain? How can you stand in the top and not to fail? To have the balance. Not always we're going to be on the top floor. A famous joke that I like to say always by Farbrengens, that someone came to visit his friend. Someone with Yom Tov, with Moed. Someone came to visit a friend of him. And the friend lived on the 30th floor. Did you ever visit a friend that lives on the 30th floor? But there is such a thing. And not all the buildings are having an elevator. This building used to have an elevator. So it was in the middle of the summer, no air conditioner on the hallway, on the steps. He goes up one floor, another floor, and another floor. 30 floors! And he's schwitzing, he's breathing very heavy. He comes to the 30th floor, he's knocking on the door. He's opening the door and says, Shalom Aleichem, thanks for visiting me. But can I ask you something? Why are you schwitzing? So, you know, schwitzing is like, wow. Why are you breathing so heavily? He says, how should I not schwitz? I should have not breathe so heavy. I went up 30th floor to visit you. He said, what? You didn't use the elevator at the lobby? He said, I wanted to, but I couldn't. He says, why? Says because when I was trying to open the elevator door, I realized that next to the door there is a little sign that the elevator is meant for 10 people only. He says, what's the problem? He says, did I have time to wait for another 9? He's very stupid, right? We do the same many times. Sukkah, Simchas Torah, we are very high. We are elevating ourselves with a mimer. Just this mimer that we was talking about, Ushafte Mimer Soson, that the Rebbe said in the Yom Yom of yesterday, that this gave us more than the Nevuah of Yoina Novi, because this is at Ein Sof. We can get the essence of Hashem, means the essence of ourselves, to find who we really are. But then after Sukkot, after Simchas Torah, we go down to the lobby, and we have a desire to be in the same level of Sukkot. So instead of using the same mimer, in the same atmosphere, the same machshava that I had by the Yom Tev, the same decisions that I decided, doesn't matter what will happen, I'm going to be happy because I can't just go over this Yom Tev to be nervous. I can't be by Simchas Torah kissing the Torah or looking of all the men dancing and seeing the kinderlach dancing around, and I'm going to be in another world just physically standing there. I'm going to be part of all this, right? A smart person is saying that. Even if we have challenges. But you know what? Not only even if you have challenges and difficulties in life. Because we have challenges, because we have difficulties that we need to overcome, I need by the right time that I can schlep simcha. But the Yerid, but the market day, I want to really take the right stuff. Therefore, I'm going to stick to Simcha. I'm going to stick to what Hashem is really giving me and grab it. How can I have it after Yom Tev? So we need to have the button of the elevator to know how to open the door. And not always we're going to be on the 30th floor, but we need to be connected. I told you before about Chag Sameach. Says the Alter Rebbe by the end of the Maimer, so how can we really stay with the fire even after we are drinking the water, like we have the water of that is making us happy, not thirsty anymore. If I'm not thirsty anymore, it's a little scary, tricky. I'm not going to look for anything anymore. I have it. I have the bottle of water next to me, and I was drinking. Says the Rebbe that this is why we end Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres with Simchas Torah. The Torah that we do after the davening, after the fire, after the water, gives us that it's connecting us the desire in the world also, because Torah is usually about physical things, how to be mekayem the aloches in the world, in the kitchen, in the business. I have a business, I'm going to manage a business according to halacha. I have to give myself. I have a partner, I have to be honest with him. I'm selling things, am I allowed to do it or not? So many questions that I get many times. Am I allowed to do business with that? It's not for Yidden, but it's not kosher food. Am I allowed to sell it or not? Or other stuff. Some people are having a business in Amazon, and they have deliveries going out on Shabbos, going out on Yom Tev, going Chometz and Pesach. Am I allowed to deal with that? So many things that halacha is surrounding our lives. We don't have even a millimeter of our life in a physical way of thinking that Torah is not connected, is connected to. So Torah is in the physical life. Therefore, when we are learning Torah, we are schlepping the atmosphere of Yom Tev into the world. This is why after Shachris there is a minhag, a halacha, to learn Torah. This is what we say, Kol hashoneh halachot bechol yom, mubtach lo shu ben olam haba. Halachot is at least 2. Halachot miyut rabim, shnaim. When you say something lashon rabim, how do you say lashon rabim?
Plural.
Plural. So it's a minimum of 2. This is how the Gemara always says, the Mishnah always says, the Halacha. So this is why we learn 2 halachot. Doesn't have to be 2 big halachot. Sometimes we're running to work. We have to do our stuff. Sometimes people are waiting for us. But we have to connect our life with Torah. Another thing that makes life, that should be easier, that the Ruchnius should be part of the Gashmias, to schlep the Sukkahs into our life, is, what is a Sukkah about? Sukkahs is a protection, like Hashem protected Eden with the Ananim. How do you say Ananim?
Clouds.
The clouds, when they went out from Mitzrayim, and this is why we do the Sukkahs, that it's protecting us. Same thing when we're listening to the Rebbe, this is something that protects us. And the Rebbe said very clearly a few times that one of the main things that can save our generation is to have a mashpia. Girls to have mashpia with a hey by the end, and boys to have a mashpia, to have a man mashpia. Beside the mashpia in yeshiva that we have, but someone that you talk, you don't have to talk to him every day, sometimes not even every week, but a set-up time, better to make it in a limited time, and to talk to someone. Some people will ask in Igros Kodesh, but it's not instead of a mashpia. Igros Kodesh is a very, very heilige, not only heilig book. That's the Rebbe's letters. The subject of Igros Kodesh, and people that are asking Igros Kodesh, it's something very, very, very high. But if someone is saying, this is my connection with the Rebbe, and no one else is directing my life besides, I understand what the Rebbe wants for me, this is how I get letters from the Rebbe. This is not what the Rebbe was teaching us. You have a mashpia. Mashpia himself is advising you, write down to the Rebbe a letter, go to Igres, go to the oil. I am not pointing now what's the most important thing. I do say that really the Rebbe himself said that the most important thing is to have a mashpia in life, and therefore we know that we do the right thing. So we go to the oil, we write a pan to the Rebbe. So once was someone leaving Israel after the tzava. You know, in Israel, after by 18 they do tzava, IDF, army, 3 years, and then they go to America. So some people will stay here forever. You know what means aliyah? They do aliyah. They go to Israel. Some people the other way. They do yerida. They leave Israel. Okay. So someone from, let's say, Tel Aviv, left Israel after the army, and for 38 years he's already in America with his family, and a friend of him from elementary didn't see him for 38 years. He comes to America, he goes out to Manhattan, and he sees his friend, and you know, sometimes you can recognize a face even after 38 years. Maybe you saw pictures of him between whatever. He sees him on the street, he gives him a shalom aleichem, he says, Avi, Doron, ma nishma, ma kore, what's going on? And then the one from Israel is asking the one from that used to be in Israel 38 years before, that he was with him in the elementary, hey, Doron, how do you make a living here in America? He says, I am a writer. Now, he remembers him from elementary. He is not a writer. But he's not embarrassing him. He's just asking him, can I ask you, what do you write? She says, I'm writing letters to my father and I'm asking him for money. He's a writer. But really, we are writers. We go to the oil, we write a pan. We give a report to the Rebbe. We say we do that. I do chitas. I do sefer mitzvahs. I do Rambam. I go mivtzoim. I have challenges and I'm overcoming my challenges sometime. This week even more than last week. I'm not embarrassed to talk to a Rebbe like I'm talking to my mommy, to my tati, because no one else is reading that. And it's by the oil, I ripped it by the oil, and I feel that I have a kesher, and I write to the Rebbe, I have a Seilech Horav, I have a Mashpia. This is the Sukkahs for all year round. I have a Sukkah, I have a Mashpia. I have someone above me, not because the Mashpia is the Rebbe himself. The Rebbe says to talk to a Mashpia, so maybe the Mashpia, she has her own challenges. So she needs also a Mashpia sometimes. But if I feel that this Mashpia is really going to be connected to my lifestyle, she's going to have time for me. Sometimes we have to limit it ourselves in how many times we're calling our Mashpia. Good. So we need limitations. We need frames. But when we do what the Rebbe and the Rebbe wants from us to do, we're really growing, and we have the Sukkah and the Simcha of Sukkahs of all year round. So we can sit there all night, and I have a list that I prepared for this Farbrengen for 2 nights maybe. Lines and lines and lines. But I want to give you opportunity for the Chassidish girls around this table. Maybe someone wants to ask something. Any questions that we have?
Actually,
Please.
a lot of times, people will you hear people mention the idea that when you talk to a mashpia, it's like this misconception that, like the Rebbe kind of talks through you, and then like the mashpia is not having more chayash or anything like that. And people answer that by saying that mashpia will offer like the Rebbe's perspective, but you can have people that are relatively well learned and know, what the Rebbe's perspective is. So I feel like people think it's like, oh yeah, the Rebbe knows that you appointed this person as your mashpia, so they're gonna give your mashpia is gonna get some like wind of inspiration.
Well, your mashpia goes to simple well. Wow.
So what is your question? Is it true that the Mashpia will have something higher than a regular person? This is your question?
Like what do they actually do?
Oh, I will tell you very, very clearly. The Mishnah says also in Pirkei Avot. The question that Yael had, when I'm going to a Mashpia to talk to about something in my life, I want to have a decision. Should I do that? Should I work half a day and learn half a day? Should I focus on that? There's so many things in Ruchnias that we can focus on. If we will focus on everything, we're gonna maybe give up very, very soon. But if we're gonna focus on very, very few things, so of course, we're not talking about mitzvahs, shmiras Shabbos, kashrus that we all do. I'm talking about like in my avodas Hashem, what should be my focus on? I'm just giving an example. So we choose our mashpia or mashpia value according to what we understand that it's going to be a good match. I mean, someone that open-minded, she will understand what you are about. Someone that also can be available. Someone should be objective, not thinking her own way with her own life, but sometimes you need to know the other person that is talking to you is going over a different life. She has a different way of thinking. Maybe the way how she grew up is different. So not everybody is the same, right? So after you choose the right person, it's not easy sometimes, but much harder when you don't have it. So the other person, when you choose them, it's, of course, she doesn't have Ruach HaKodesh. But when she is taking the job for real, Hashem is giving her Seyata Tishmaya, a special help to really direct you in the right way. So I saw it in my own life, and I spoke to my Mashpia many, many times. So maybe that not always I understood that this is the right thing to do, but when I follow, I really had atzlocha. Happened even that the mashpia himself should call me later on and he will say, I think I made a mistake with what I told you last time, and after I see now that and that, I think if you want, you should change. Because a mashpia is not a rebbe. A mashpia is not someone that will tell you, you have to do that, you have to do that. He's available for you to direct you. So you have to take it in a very healthy way and to put everything on the table also in a healthy way. And the mashpia needs to be smart enough that maybe some things are really not on the table and she has to take it in consideration. Because there is a limit how much a person, some people are very open to say and to talk about everything, and some people are not, and it's also fine. Not everything you want to share. Some things you want to deal with yourself, and it's fine. But you need to believe. I remember the Rebbe was screaming almost by a Farbrengens when he was begging people to make a mashpia, and some people was thinking that the Rebbe is the only one that can be their mashpia. And the Rebbe was giving mussar to people. No way. You need to have a mashpia. And this is the tikkun of our generation. This is the main thing that is might be missing in our generation. If we will have it, we will have a normal life. We will get up in the morning with missions. We will be matzliach. And if we will maybe fail in something, so it's not that we're going to have, okay, I can blame my mashpia. No, this is part of life. Hashem wanted me to fail here because from this dropping, I can go even higher. This is the way of thinking of a Jew. But when we are just by ourselves, failing and dropping and getting up and with no seder, with no any advice of Torah, of Chassidus, of the Rebbe, so we are in the desert without any directions. This is why a mashpia is the most important thing. Then, a Igros Kodesh can be a flashlight in our life. I spoke to my mashpia, she told me that. And I remember asking the Rebbe a question. Let me share with you. I was a bocher in 1970, 1989.
Yeah. Remember the stick? No, you still need the stick. Well,
Okay. Yes, we all saw him.
Is he gone? So he's gone. And hopefully you guys there. I didn't see that.
Yeah, this was not funny.
Okay, guys, it's live, remember?
Anyway, to conclude, I was by the Rebbe the third year as a bocher in 770. 1989, listen to a very nice and important story.
Stop it.
1989, I was already an older bocher. How old? 21. And my mother called me from Israel, and she says, you have to come to Eretz Israel to start shidduchim, because you are getting older. And I was in the middle of learning smicha. Smicha means to be a rabbi. And I wanted to continue and to finish smicha in 770. So I decided to ask my mashpia, Asay Lechorav, what to do. And he told me, I know you. Kalman, if you're not going to accomplish now smicha as a bocher, you're not going to do it ever later. Better finish it now. So now I have an argument between my mashpia and my mother. Who should I listen to? My mother, who is telling me to listen to her, Hashem, kabed es avicho, ve'esimecho, aseres adibros. Can something take away aseres adibros? No, it's the strongest thing that you have. But the Rebbe said also, listen to your mashpia. So what should I do? So I wrote to the Rebbe a letter. Who should I listen to? To Hashem or to the Rebbe? I didn't write it this way. Don't worry. I was just writing to the Rebbe that my mother is begging me to come to Israel for Shidduchim, and my mashpia is saying, yes, Shidduchim in the future, but now focus on Smicha. Same day I got an answer. Do you know what the Rebbe told me? Who should I listen to? Huh? Mashpia. So Aseret Adibras is nothing by you, or by the Rebbe Chas v'Sholem? The Rebbe still says, so why do you think that the Rebbe should tell me to listen to my mashpia? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying why. Why do you think so? Why is your instinct?
I mean, halacha also says that when it comes to Torah, when it comes to learning,
Oh, okay. Okay.
you don't need to listen.
So you know what the Rebbe answered me?
What did the Rebbe say?
The Rebbe said, this question,
It's a question for your mashpia.
Oh my gosh. Let it speak.
the Rebbe answered me, this question belongs not to you, Mashpia, and not to you, mother. To the Anole, to the Anole of the yeshiva. You are a yeshiva bocher in 770. You have to ask them if you can leave yeshiva for shidduchim. Ask permission. Means you are in a system. You are in a frame of Tomchet Mimim. So I went into Rabbi David Raskin, Olav Sholem, and I said, the Rebbe sent me to the Anole. And he said, when the Rebbe is sending, he's never sitting by himself. I should choose another person. And I asked another Mashpia to come in and join us. And they was talking to me. They called my mother in Israel. They called in my Mashpia that was in Kron Heights. They called in to speak to him. And then they made like a pshor, like a compromise. They said, continue learning Smicha here. And only when your mother will say that there is a ready thing that you're going to meet, then go. But what is the answer from the Rebbe about? That you have a system, you have a frame. But when someone is not in Tomchet Mimim, he's older already, he has a job, it's fine. He should have a mashpia. He should have a direction. He should have a system. It's not just, I'm swimming in the ocean and everything will be fine. When you're swimming in the ocean, you can go wrong directions many times. Even if you have a GPS, because you know many things, but the battery will be gone soon. Because there is a limit how much you can swing in the huge oceanus, how do you call it? Ocean. And be by yourself and know everything knowing. So you need directions. You need a Zelle Chorav. This is what Sukkah is about. Protection. About above us. The Ananei Kavod that used to protect Eden outside going from Mitzrayim. And this is what we need to do after Sukkah every day and every week with ourselves. Beginning with having a Seder every day and not just spending days with no Seder. It's not always we have a job. Not always the job is so mesudar, so in order. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But we need a Seder in our brain, in our heart. We need a life with missions. Then things are coming quicker because we have the Mashpia. We have a Seder Hayoim. My vacation is now 2 weeks. So what? I will get up to the same minyan 7:30. Why? Because I see the same people. Because if I will get up 9 o'clock, my day will be a little a mess. But I don't know what to do as vacation. Okay, but this is my vacation with no any other obligations. I don't have to work on my computer all day. I don't have to go to the office or whatever. But my nefesh things that are making me normal, stable and happy, not only are still there, but the vacation, I need them even more. Because vacation can take me away from who I am, who am I. So I wish all of you, you should find the direction that the Sukkahs, that is giving us so much simcha, so much real happiness, not only dancing with our feet in the ground, and it's good, but the inside simcha, and understanding that we have Sha'afte Mayim V'Sosoin, Simchas Beis HaShe'oiva of water, that I was thirsty by Rosh Hashanah, by Yom Kippur, by Elul, and now I have it already, I have the water, but I still need the fire. The fire should be on a medium fire always. I should always have a desire. We need practical things in our life. Something that we study, a davening that we focus on, a gathering of friends that I will never miss, even if it will be something that's very exciting for me. And this is what we begin the Farbrengens today, if you remember before. It's about what makes me excited. I have a fire, but where is my fire direction? In the right stuff. Chag Sameach. And you wanted to ask something?
Oh, you mentioned earlier about food, and your mother disapproved that I talked about food.
No, she didn't say not to talk about food. She said not too much.
She said not more than 5 minutes. That's
She
not
meant
5 minutes, not worth it.
right, but she meant to say you can talk about food, but not too much, because if you talk about food, this is
The question was a smaller. What if talking about food brings you some Yom?
if this is bringing you Simchas Yom Tov, that you talk about the recipe, you talk about, it's fine. Depends also who. By some people, by some people,
Like you said, it depends where your fire is. So it depends what.
yeah,
what's
if
right.
this not taking you away from the real fire, it's not a problem, of course. We need to take everything in a healthy way. If a lady that she is very specific about cooking and giving out recipes and giving out food to others and being proud of what she made, and it's homemade, and I didn't bought the chales, I made sourdough, I made that, she should talk about it 10 hours. But by her, it's to show how much she appreciated the Yom Tov. This is why she cooked so much. It's not a problem. I'm talking about for us, more for men. It's like, okay, eat, enjoy. It's sweet, it's salty, it's fine. But don't make from that avoid the Zorah.
Right.
If it's coming from the Kedusha part,
Then
it's
it's fine.
perfect.
Right.
Of
Okay.
course. Thanks for making this clear. Chag Sameach.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening.